Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to all my fellow friends and lecturer. My name is Nursima binti Faisal, number matrix BA 20110551 from course Industrial Relation. In this SEM, I have taken a Human Resource Management course for my studies, and here we are today to present our group tutorial presentation. Today, my group and I will present case study 2, Appraisal at Syarikat Indrel, Sdn.Bhd, and we have to answer the question given, which is question number 1. What mistake is Ashraf making in his performance appraisal of Joe? And question number 2. How can an appraiser manage emotional outbursts from a subordinate during appraisal interview? Before we answer the question, here I would like to give a little introduction on what is managing employee performance and performance appraisal. An employee performance management system is a way to ensure that each employee works in the manner that is aligned with organizational goals and that ensures the employer reaches his or her maximum potential in the workplace. It is a very common process for appraise or evaluate workers' performance. It is natural for managers to have opinions about which employees are most needed, which are reasonably performing, and which are underperforming. Employees' performance management systems simply formalize this nature process and make it more transparent. Here, my friends Shamim and Fedra will present question number 1, and question number 2 will be presented by Johan and Christine.
My name is Fedra Fatin Bangkok Ansalin with matrix number BA 201-10815. We'll continue presenting about the error in performance appraisal that have been done by Arif towards Joe, either consciously or subconsciously. So what are the mistakes that Arif have done to Joe? Is the first one is attribution error. Attribution error is a process where the individual make assumptions about the reason or motive for someone else's specific actions or behavior. In performance review, an attribution error could happen when employee give negative feedback. As we can relate to the situation given, Arif got a negative review from Joe regarding his work. So Arif expects that Joe is not doing his very best in his performance or in his job. However, it's never a good idea to give back a negative reaction, as it can influence the rest of the review process. So what needs to be done is both sides need to be to overcome the problem by being cooperate with each other. The second one is recenser error. Recenser error usually occurs when the appraiser only based their feedback on the last few weeks of work. For example, the employee have performed superbly for most of the review period, however make a mistake before the annual appraisal, so end up receive a negative review. Going back to the cases given, we can assume that Arif actually appraised Joe regarding his recent or newest annual performance review, and he doesn't even know Joe's performance before. So he wasn't aware that maybe the accidents or the customer complaint before the annual performance review was much more better than the newest report that he has been given. So this could mean the employee will receive a negative review if the whole year is not taken in consideration. And we can conclude that Arif is actually commits the recency error in his review towards Joe. So the next one is bias or partially. Bias is inclination or prejudice for or against one person or a group, especially in a way considered to be unfair. So what usually happens is the appraiser tend to position themselves either for or against the person who is being assessed. So, going back to the case study that have been given, um, we know that Arif wasn't really around when needed in the company and just to spend more time with playing golf rather than come to the office and work. So this situation actually shows us that Arif doesn't really understand or know how his employee works and end up appraise them regarding his own evaluating system. So as conclusion, every humans or all humans have prejudice. Even so, we shouldn't let them influence our feedback when supervising or evaluating another person. Bias or partiality in the review process mean it lacks objectivity, which in turn could undermine the employee and their position in the company.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and prosperity to my friends and my lecturer, Dr. Zuriza. My name is Muhammad Sharmizani bin Muhammad Ali. Today, I will explain a little about the debate in this case study 2 is Appraisal and Syarikat Indrel Sdn.Bhd. Okay, let's me continue. We move on to the first case question, which is what mistakes is Arif making in his performance appraisal of Joe? As a result of my reading and my understanding of the storyline, the mistake made by Arif, the most important of communication. Yes, communication. This is because while Arif told the result of Joe performance evaluation, Arif started a rather bad conversation with Joe. Yes, the proof is that Arif started the conversation by reprimanding Joe work rather brutally. In addition, Arif also criticizing Joe work without looking at the whole thing he had done. So, finally, this is the biggest mistake in the wise way of communication with Joe where he has touched on the issue of Joe's personal matter that should not be brought up in terms of work. He has includes comments that Joe said is having problems at school which has made Joe feel even angry. So this is a mistake is Arif making is his performance appraisal of Joe. Thank you guys.
Hello to doctor and all my fellow friends. I'm Kristen and I will continue the slideshow. So, as an appraiser, we need to be professional. The main thing is to keep professional and cool. This is because appraiser need to go through a lot and remain the skill of managing. Be professional is not just sitting like a boss, but also think wisely and also knowing the real issue and understanding situation from not to judging too earlier, but try listen to the employee first and their concern. This will make employee feel being heard and respect. And then lastly, give advice and positive motivation to employee. So the next is acknowledge and listen first. An appraiser should take time to acknowledge and listen first at all. Then just give a little time to be in short conversation. View moment of emotion as opportunity to listen, empathize with their story. This can help build your relationship with them, plus understanding each other, so that we can know the main problem and we can solve it.
Assalamualaikum and hello. I wish to Dr. Zhu and fellow student. My name is Johan bin Hairi. Metric number BA 20110846. I will continue our presentation group case 2 for question 2. Okay, my first point is make discussion between employers and employees. I think we have discussion between employees and employer can to identify problem faced by employers. This is can help the employer is aware of weakness both in the company and its employers. And I think if we have a discussion each other can to help avoid error in the assignment by employers. Okay, let's continue. My second point is don't take personal life to discussion. I think if take a personal life to discussion can make a disturbing emotional at work. This is can make employer not focus in their work, and I think and why the don't take personal life to discussion because a worker need to be more professional in their work. Employees need to be smart and control their emotion.
In conclusion, organizations have performance management system to ensure each and every worker performs to the best of his abilities. Evaluation system must be developed to minimize evaluator bias as far as possible, just like what our friend Fedra said in his presentation about errors in performance appraisal, and also Shamim, who talked about lack of communication will have a negative impact on the appraisal system. Managers must also be trained to conduct evaluation discussions so they can manage if something happened in the evaluation interview, similar to what Johan and Christine states in their presentation.